1 mole of the electrolyte in the solution is called as molar conductivity. Lambda m is equal to 1000 kappa by C. For calculation of molar conductivity. Conductivity always decreases with a decrease in concentration. Molar conductivity increases with a decrease in concentration. It is possible to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of any electrolyte. Hello my dear students, welcome back to session 7 on the chapter electrochemistry. Last class we studied about nature of material and the magnitude of conductivity. Also we learnt how to measure the conductivity of an ionic solution. Today we shall learn about molar conductivity. What is molar conductivity? Molar conductivity can be defined as the conducting power of ions produced by dissolving 1 mole of electrolyte in solution. That is, for example, if I take 1 molar solution, that is 1 liter I have taken, in which 1 mole of electrolytes I have dissolved, okay? 1 mole of electrolytes I have dissolved, they will produce ions, isn't it? So, the conducting power of these ions, okay, these ions produced by dissolving 1 mole of electrolyte is called as molar conductivity, okay, or the conductance due to the ions produced by dissolving 1 mole of the electrolyte in the solution is called as molar conductivity. It is denoted by the symbol lambda m, okay. It is related to conductivity of the solution like this. So, molar conductivity is equal to conductivity into volume, when volume of the solution is that which contains 1 mole of electrolyte. So, this volume of solution which contains 1 mole of electrolyte in 1 liter, okay, then it is conductivity into volume we do. But if the concentration of the solution is in mole per liter, what is it? If the concentration of the solution you know in mole per liter, then you have to take molar conductivity is equal to kappa by C, okay. So, this is how we can calculate molar conductivity and relate it to conductivity of the solution, okay. Next is when kappa is expressed in Simon per meter, that is, we know that molar conductivity is equal to kappa by C, isn't it? And kappa is in Simon per meter. Then the concentration is mole per meter cube. What is it? If this is in Simon per meter and this is in mole per meter cube, then the unit of lambda m is Simon meter square per mole. Correct, no? Here per meter square gets cancelled. So, it is Simon meter square per mole you will get unit. And it can be calculated using this formula. Lambda m is equal to kappa by 1000 C. Okay. If we use Simon per centimeter as the unit of K and mole per cm cube as the unit of concentration, then lambda m unit is Simon centimeter square per mole, and it can be calculated using the formula lambda m is equal to 1000 kappa by C. So, you have to see what is the unit in which you have got conductivity and the concentration. Okay. So, if the conductivity is in Simon per meter and concentration is mole per meter cube, then lambda m is equal to kappa 1000 by C. If the conductivity is in Simon per centimeter and the concentration is in mole per cm cube, then you have to use the formula lambda m is equal to 1000 kappa by C for calculation of molar conductivity. Okay. Next is the variation of conductivity and molar conductivity with concentration. Now, if you dilute a particular solution, okay, I have a solution whose conductivity and molar conductivity variation I need to find out on dilution. So, if I am diluting that particular ionic solution, what happens to the conductivity as well as the molar conductivity? We need to understand. So, first of all, conductivity always decreases with a decrease in concentration. That means this is my solution. Okay? What solution? An ionic solution. If I dilute this, the conductivity will decrease. Why it decreases? Now, what is the meaning of conductivity? Now, the conductivity here is due to what? It is due to the number of ions present per unit volume that carry current in a solution. Correct, no? So, what is the meaning of conductivity? If this is my per unit volume, I have taken 1 unit volume. Okay, in this there are some ions. The conductivity, how much ions are there, how much electricity they can conduct, that is called as conductivity or specific conductance. Correct? So, what is it? It is the number of ions in per unit volume that conduct electricity is called as conductivity. Now, when I dilute this, the volume will increase. Correct? No, volume increases. That means the ions will go still far apart. When they still go far apart, the number of ions in unit volume decreases. And because of that, even the conductivity will decrease. Got it? Why conductivity decreases on dilution? Conductivity means the number of ions per unit volume that can conduct electricity. Now, when I dilute, the volume will increase. That ions will still move far apart. So, in this unit volume, the number of ions will decrease. And when the number of ions will decrease, obviously the conductivity also should decrease. That's why conductivity decreases with the decrease in concentration. Okay? Or I can tell conductivity decreases with dilution. Now, next is molar conductivity. Molar conductivity increases with the dilution, or I can tell molar conductivity increases with the decrease in concentration. Why is it? It is because the total volume of the solution containing 1 mole of the electrolyte will increase. The volume will increase, isn't it? What is the meaning of molar conductivity? It is the conductance due to the number of ions produced by 1 mole of an electrolyte in a solution. Now, when the volume increases, what exactly happens? Now, for example, if you have to understand about molar conductivity, you should understand in terms of weak electrolyte and strong electrolyte. So, we will see about it here. Okay. In weak electrolyte, also the molar conductivity will increase on dilution. Why? See, what is the meaning of weak electrolyte? For example, I'll take CH3COOH. It's a weak electrolyte. So, there is CH3COO minus and H plus ion. Correct? Now, this will be at equilibrium. So, there are some molecules of acetic acid, some ions of acetate ions and some H plus ion. Now, these ions are responsible for conductance. Correct? Now, I'll dilute this. If I dilute, it will increase the number of ions, and thus when the number of ions goes on increasing, obviously the molar conductivity will increase, isn't it? Thus, the degree of dissociation of a weak electrolyte increases on dilution. So, how much it will dissociate? That will increase on dilution, and hence the number of ions increase, thus the molar conductance gradually increases on dilution. Okay. Now what about the strong electrolyte? Strong electrolyte, for example, NaCl. Everything has dissociated to form Na plus and Cl minus. Now here what is increasing on dilution? Now, strong electrolytes in a particular solution, if I take, there are a lot of sodium ions and chloride ions. Okay. There are many sodium and chloride ions, they are very close to one another. So, there is an interionic attraction which is there still. Okay. So, some of the ions will not take part in conducting electricity at all. So now when you are diluting this, what will happen? The volume will increase, they'll get more space, they'll move far apart, and this interionic attraction will be broken because they are moving far apart. And now all these ions are available for conducting electricity, due to which the molar conductivity will increase. Got it? Weak electrolyte, what will happen? On dilution, degree of dissociation will increase, the number of ions will increase, molar conductivity will increase. But for strong electrolyte, the interionic attraction will be decreased on dilution. Now all the ions are available for conducting electricity, and thus the molar conductivity will increase. Okay. So these are the two reasons why molar conductivity will increase on dilution. Here you can also see the graph, as this is the concentration and this is the molar conductivity. So if you are diluting, you can see the concentration is molar conductivity is gradually going on increasing. You can see that this is continuously going on increasing for a weak electrolyte like acetic acid. Whereas a strong electrolyte, you can see as you dilute, becomes more and more dilute, the molar conductivity is going on increasing. When the conductance, that is if you extrapolate, when the dilution is 0, okay, that is called as limiting molar conductivity. More about this I shall talk in the coming slides. Okay. Next is about the limiting molar conductivity. When the concentration approaches 0, the molar conductivity is called as limiting molar conductivity. Okay. For strong electrolyte, molar conductivity increases slowly with dilution and can be represented by using this formula. That is, molar conductivity is equal to limiting molar conductivity minus A C to the power half. Okay. So this is the formula for what electrolyte? For only strong electrolyte. Okay. Because you can see in the graph here, for weak electrolyte, it is going on increasing like this. But for a strong electrolyte, you get the limiting molar conductivity. I can tell that when concentration is 0, then the molar conductivity is called as limiting molar conductivity. Or when the dilution increases, okay, and the concentration approaches 0, that is on extrapolation, what I get, when it reaches the 0 line, we get it as limiting molar conductivity. This is possible only for strong electrolyte. Weak electrolyte, you can see it is going on, how much ever you extrapolate, it will never meet the y-axis at all. So limiting molar conductivity for a weak electrolyte we cannot find out. It is only for the strong electrolyte. Okay. So as we can see, if we plot molar conductivity against C to the power half, we obtain a straight line which is equal to the limiting molar conductivity, and slope is equal to minus A. That is the same graph which we are talking about. This is for a strong electrolyte. On extrapolating, it will meet the y-axis, and that's called as the limiting molar conductivity, and slope will be equal to minus A. That is from the formula. Okay. So that's about the limiting molar conductivity. Next is Kohl-Rausch law. Very, very important for your exam. Okay. Now, at infinite dilution, you are continuously diluting, and it is, lots of dilution you have done. We call it as infinite dilution. Okay, the electrostatic attraction between the ions become negligible. That means between the ions which are oppositely charged in the particular electrolyte, the attraction is negligible. It is not there because you have diluted it enough. Okay, and hence each ion makes its own contribution to the total conductance. So every ion is actually conducting electricity. Okay, thus the law states that the limiting molar conductivity of an electrolyte can be represented as the sum of individual contribution of ions, that is anions and cations of the electrolyte. Or I can tell limiting molar conductivity is sum of the molar conductivities of the individual anion and cation in a particular electrolyte. Now, for example, if an electrolyte gives V plus cation and V minus anion, then limiting molar conductivity is equal to V plus cations are there into its molar conductivity plus V minus anions into its molar conductivity. So, both if you add up, you will get the limiting molar conductivity. If you have not understood, you can understand it like this. Now, for example, HCl, limiting molar conductivity of HCl is molar conductivity of H plus ion into molar conductivity of Cl minus ion. For CH3COH, I can write it as molar conductivity of H plus ion and CH3CO minus ion. Molar conductivity of BaCl2 is molar conductivity of Ba plus 2 ion and 2 into molar conductivity of Cl minus ion. Why I have multiplied into 2? Because of this. Okay. So, this is Kohlrausch law. So, what did Kohlrausch law tell? The limiting molar conductivity of a solution is equal to the sum of the molar conductivity of the anions and cations produced by that electrolyte. Okay. So, that's about the Kohlrausch law. Now, we will see for weak electrolyte, how can we actually apply this Kohlrausch law to calculate the limiting molar conductivity. Now, weak electrolytes, I showed you the graph as well, in which, for strong electrolyte, we can do the extrapolation and we get the limiting molar conductivity. For example, KCl. Whereas, if we take a solution like CH3COOH, that is acetic acid, which is a weak electrolyte, you get a graph like this, in which this is the molar conductivity and this is concentration to the power half. How much ever we are extrapolating, we never get an limiting molar conductivity. Now, how to calculate the limiting molar conductivity using Kohlrausch law? I'll take an example of ammonium hydroxide. Correct? So, ammonium hydroxide is a weak electrolyte. But according to Kohlrausch law, the limiting molar conductivity of ammonium hydroxide is molar conductivity of ammonium ion plus molar conductivity of OH minus ion. Now, how can I get the molar conductivity of NH4 plus and OH minus? I can use ammonium chloride, sodium hydroxide and sodium chloride. Whereas ammonium chloride is a strong electrolyte. From the graph I can get. NaOH also I can calculate the limiting molar conductivity because it's a strong electrolyte. NaCl also is a strong electrolyte. I can use all these three and calculate the limiting molar conductivity of ammonium hydroxide. How? See, ammonium chloride gives ammonium ions and chloride ion. So, I get the limiting molar conductivity of ammonium and chloride. NaOH gives me sodium ion and OH minus ion. Now, I add the 2 molar conductivity of ammonium chloride and sodium hydroxide and minus molar conductivity of sodium chloride. So, here you see minus molar conductivity of sodium ion. So, plus and minus gets cancelled. Again, Plus and minus for chloride gets cancelled. So what remains? Molar conductivity of ammonium ion, molar conductivity of hydroxide ion. That is nothing but ammonium hydroxide. So I take the molar conductivity of ammonium chloride, add up with sodium hydroxide and minus the molar conductivity of sodium chloride. I'll ultimately get the molar conductivity of ammonium hydroxide. So, I can use the molar conductivity of the strong electrolytes to calculate the molar conductivity of a weak electrolyte using Kohlrausch law. Okay? So, I hope you have understood. Next is degree of dissociation. The ratio of molar conductivity at a specific concentration C to the molar conductivity at infinite dilution is called as alpha, that is degree of dissociation. So, alpha is molar conductivity by limiting molar conductivity. Okay. Now, Ka, we know that it is a dissociation constant of an acid and this is the formula. Ka is equal to C alpha square 1 by alpha. We have studied this in first year in equilibrium chapter, isn't it? Now, alpha I know that is lambda m by lambda m naught. So, if I substitute that and if I solve, I am going to get the dissociation constant of an acid is concentration into molar conductivity square divided by limiting molar conductivity into limiting molar conductivity minus the molar conductivity of a solution. So, this is the degree of dissociation and the dissociation constant of an acid using molar conductivity. Okay. Next is applications of Kohlrausch law. Using Kohlrausch law of independent migration of ions, it is possible to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of any electrolyte. It can be strong or weak electrolyte by using the limiting molar conductivity of individual ions. Correct? Also, for weak electrolytes, it is possible to determine the value of dissociation constants once we know the limiting molar conductivity as well as the molar conductivity. So, using Kohlrausch law, it is possible for us to calculate the limiting molar conductivity of weak electrolyte. Also, we can calculate the degree of dissociation of a weak electrolyte. So, this is the application of Kohlrausch law. I hope you have understood today's class. Next class we will be learning about primary batteries and about the secondary batteries. So, thank you my dear children. Stay tuned, stay focused.